It's time to mind your business with me, Jamila Lodge. Tune in to find out how to mind your business with BEDC, special guest entrepreneurs, industry experts, and more. Brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.
How are you guys?
Morning.
Welcome to Mind Your Business. I want to first introduce yourselves, let us know why you're here and what we'll be talking about today.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thanks for having us. First, I'm William Spriggs. I'm Director of Economic and Cooperative Development here at BDC, your colleague. Happy to always work with you, Chelsea. And we'll be talking about our Commercial Kitchens program.
Okay, well done. And you, sir?
My name is Chef Trevor Johnston, and I am chef and owner of Plant-Based Fuel Bermuda, and I am one of the tenants in the Commercial Kitchen program.
Okay, perfect. So we'll be talking about the Commercial Kitchen program. William, can you go into that a little bit? Tell us what it is and why BDC is involved.
Sure. So three main goals. One is to contract with commercial kitchen owners and managers to be able to rent their underutilized capacity within their kitchens. Mm-hmm. And so we can, on a very selective basis, rent kitchens outright, the whole kitchen, and rent on a 24/7 basis. Or if, say, a restaurant and they're in there for breakfast and lunch but no dinner or even dinner, and they say, well, hey, I wouldn't mind having my kitchen as a part of the program. And maybe it's after 8, 9 o'clock, or midnight to 5 o'clock and whatnot, we can look at that underutilized capacity to be able to rent. And then once we have kitchens in the program, we draft a head lease with them, so it's a full agreement. Here are the terms and conditions by which we rent the program, and then we turn that kitchen to the community and rent to the community users.
Gotcha.
Okay, and so a user, our program is ripe for a user that doesn't want the whole kitchen. Mm-hmm. They don't want the full rent or responsibility, but maybe they need a few days a week, a Monday and a Wednesday for a couple of hours. Maybe it's just a Saturday or a Sunday because they have a full-time job.
Right.
And so we kind of pieced it out. So it's a puzzle in a sense to have the right community users fit within the program so that everyone plays nice together.
Awesome. And so how exactly does this program help small businesses?
Sure. That's a good question. So from a small business owner of a commercial kitchen, it helps them to be able to rent their underutilized capacity, because there are a lot of kitchens around, commercial or otherwise, restaurants, churches, sports clubs that perhaps have a service provider in them, but it's not rented 24/7 or even 50% of the time.
Right.
And so within our program, we contract and pay that kitchen that entrepreneur, that kitchen owner rent, which no doubtly helps their bottom line.
Exactly.
And then on the community user side, much like Trevor, the user only pays for the space that they rent.
Gotcha.
Right, and no more. And so those are my 2-3 hours and whatnot. And so we provide a lot of I call it the glue, the administration that helps the program to work.
Awesome. So how have you found the feedback to the program so far? How has it been going?
Yeah, and we try to stay close to our particular users. I mean, Trevor's an old head. He's been in the program for almost 2 years now.
Okay, wow.
And so we try to be attentive. We try to be responsive. When issues pop up from time to time, our partner in this program, and we can't do it without them, is Department of Health.
Okay.
So if any little pieces come up, like for instance, now we, months ago started a deep cleaning process once a month. So we pay a service provider to go in and deep clean the kitchens.
Okay.
In addition to what the users are responsible for as they exit the kitchen and clean up,
Okay.
So there's always a clean handoff, ideally, from one user to another. And then it's the extra cleaning on top of that. And so, there's a lot of administration and support there to ensure that the kitchens stay clean, they're safe, because at the end of the day, it's a new model for Department of Health where we have multi-users in one kitchen as opposed to one user.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
Awesome. We'll shift over to Trevor a little bit. Let's bring you in the conversation. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your business and your background?
Okay, so my background, I'm a chef. I've been a chef for almost 20 years now.
Oh, wow, okay.
I started at the Bermuda College. After that, I went to Johnson & Wales in North Miami, and I worked there a few years after that. Moved back to Bermuda for a little bit, and then moved to Barcelona, Spain, which I was there for 6 years, and I was working and just gaining experience, knowledge, life experience, and that's sort of where I found this plant-based journey that I'm been on.
Okay. And is that your business?
Yes.
Okay.
So plant-based food in Bermuda is what I do. So we do catering, private catering, private dinner parties. We do weekly menus. We do cooking demonstrations. So it's growing nicely.
Awesome. All right. So, as a user of the commercial kitchen program, how do you find it? What's been going on?
No, it's good. It's
Yeah.
good. It's definitely that springboard that I needed to become an official business, right? So, me starting a business, a food industry business, you definitely need that license, right? So me
Right.
trying to do things from home wasn't really acceptable. I was doing it right, but I definitely needed that help to find a kitchen. So rather than me going out there and searching Bermuda for a kitchen, the BDC in this kitchen program definitely gives you that assistance, and they sort of deal with all the details, as far as the landlords and stuff like that, and the contracts, and I just sign and do what I got to do.
Awesome. Perfect. So, William, can you describe the facilities that are available? Like Trevor said, it is super helpful that BDC is like the one-stop shop to find these facilities. Like, are there a lot available? Can you let us know?
Yeah. And so, how we onboard a new kitchen is a very, it's a lot of due diligence involved with that. Before I get to the kitchens that we have in our stable, we're looking at a few kitchens now, and for instance, one kitchen within the church doesn't have a full-blown grade A. It's different levels of licenses, but to be able to cook hot food for sale is the top-tier Department of Health license. And so it's a slow process to be able to engage Department of Health to go and review and assess the kitchen, and then it's a whole determination of whether they will fit right in our program. Can we have multiple users there? Is it too small? Is it going to be too expensive to upgrade? Maybe it might have residential appliances. It needs to go. Obviously, commercial is stainless steel, right? It's a much bigger price tag, if you will.
Okay.
But the kitchens that we have within our arsenal now are Pathways, which is at 61 Verdmont Road at the top of Collectors Hill, just before the roundabout, before Whitney, just to give people some context of where it is. And that's a fantastic facility that came online just before Bethel, and we have 4 users there.
Okay.
But that's a solid commercial kitchen. They had a commercial kitchen license before we came in, and so it was just a matter of just making a few changes and a little upgrades here, a few upgrades there. But traditionally, it's the Vulcan stove, it's the commercial stainless steel fridges, obviously the stainless steel countertops. And Trevor can go into a bit more detail about the specifics within. And then we have Bethel Church down on North Shore, just before Shelley Bay Road. Where Trevor is, and that's been fantastic. Reverend Ruth down there and her team, Renee, have been just fantastic in regards to allowing us the space and some sort of freedom to be able to expand the program. Because what we like, and I'm just going to hand off to Trevor. This is a good segue, Trevor, in terms of your experience at Bethel, not to get in the way of your question, Kelsey, is the whole idea of one user per fridge, right? And so if we're looking at multiple users, one of our first lines of assessment is, can we expand the fridge line so that if you're a user, you have your own fridge,
Okay.
right? You can, that's your whole safe zone. Refrigeration, in accordance with Department of Health guidelines, can be looked at a bit differently. I don't want to be able to tread on their toes in regards to how they assess refrigeration and storage of dry goods. So they like it so that the individual user has their own little safe zones of usage. And so, Trevor, at Bethel, that's a fantastic kitchen down there.
Awesome.
Is it any? What would you share as far as appliances and the infrastructure there that helps you to do your business?
Space.
The
Space. It's spacious, right? And because I'm a full-time client,
Okay.
right? So I'm in there all the time. So, and because of the different avenues of work I do, between the catering, my menus, just I need space. I
Yeah.
need space. You know what I mean? So if I was just doing one avenue, then you know, me downsizing wouldn't be an issue. But being that I'm doing so much, and sometimes I have all these things going on in the same week.
Yeah.
So space is definitely important.
Yeah. Okay. From a business perspective, what would you say are some new skills you've learned by being part of the commercial kitchen program?
New skills.
Like, has this influenced your product offerings? Were you able to expand?
Well,
Because the space, right?
Expansion, yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't say new skills. I mean, I feel like I'm learning new skills anyway as the business grows.
Right.
Right? But not so much skills, but definitely it's helped me with the expansion. Again,
yes.
like before, I just started out doing a weekly menu. So now I'm doing catering, the private dinner parties,
Okay.
cooking demonstrations, and everything else, right? So because of that space, now I'm able to
Like grow a bit.
grow,
Right.
Because I have the space to do it. So that has been a huge factor.
Okay. Have you faced any challenges while using the commercial kitchen, and how has BDC supported you in overcoming those?
Challenges, I would say. I wouldn't say too much challenge, but I would say this: the BEDC is definitely helpful. I would say that they're flexible, right?
yes.
Because as a small business, you know, cash flow sometimes is up and down, right? So trying to make rent as a small business sometimes can be difficult,
Yeah.
right? And I know that's a part of the journey, but I feel like the BDC is, or they can be flexible with you as long as you're steady.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not like they're gonna evict you if you're a half a month behind or a month behind, like, you know what I mean? I think that's very important because it gives the entrepreneur that cushion, you know what I mean, to sort of play with.
Okay, perfect. And yeah, we definitely at BDC like to be flexible and support where we can. And I know, William, earlier you were speaking about how this is a completely new concept, right, for the health department and things like that. So we do make those leaps to try and figure it out and make it work for both the governmental side, but also for the entrepreneur as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So,
Yeah.
so Kelsey, just kind of, Trevor touched on the whole idea that that he is full time.
Yeah.
At Bethel, so full time hours. And so there is one other user currently at Bethel that will come in sometime after, and do some hours after, travel into the
Okay.
evening time. And we're excited about her as well, and hopefully we can have her on the program at a later date. And there still may be, in accordance with Department of Health approval guidelines, capacity for a late night person.
Okay.
You see, and we historically, for some reason, we haven't attracted many bakers, right? So people that want to come into like a midnight to 4, have their rolls going and all of that. Just want to be able to, tell your listening audience that we have capacity for these evening, late hours.
Yeah, so just encouraging people
Right.
to think outside the box. Like, you don't have to use the kitchen between like 8 a.m. to 5,
Yeah,
that type of
no,
thing.
yeah.
So it could be the really like red eye early hours too.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. Because you're making early time, right? So what, like 6, 7, something?
Yeah, I'm normally in there about 7:38.
Okay.
Sometimes a little bit later. Again, it all depends on what I have going on.
Yeah.
But the earliest I will be there in about 7:30. If I have a lot going on, I'm in there earlier.
Right.
Fantastic.
Okay.
yeah. And you find all the appliances at Bethel to be, working
Oh yeah,
operationally
fine.
no
And
problem?
now I have a really good relationship with Bethel, so I know who to call and what to do.
Right.
and who
Yeah.
to contact if there are issues, because there's always issues no matter where you go, whatever kitchen you're in, right? So there's
Yeah.
always some issues. So I feel like family there, and they trust me, and I like the relationship that we have there. It's nice.
Awesome.
Just a final point with that. So how the program works for listeners, Kelsey, is we enter into, as I mentioned, a master lease with the kitchen owners.
Yes. So
we have a
BEDC
master
does.
lease with Bethel Church.
Yes.
We pay them rent. And then we have sublease agreements that are all kosher and all in agreement with the church, that we have full license to sublease
To the
multiple
entrepreneurs.
tenants.
Yes.
And really we want to cover costs, and not all costs. Certainly we don't push administration all into it in terms of what Chelsea and I do here and all of that. But, you cover costs plus a little something in the kitty to be able to, because we know we're going to have to, stuff's going to break down, we're going to have to fix it. There may
Yep.
be a new fridge, or somebody may come in and say, hey, I really like the kitchen, but I can't afford the big mix master. And so we've got to have some reserves to be able to keep expanding the program.
Right.
So that's really how the money flows,
Right.
in brief.
From the businesses, what do they have to do in order to be a part of the program? Is there a certain criteria that they have to meet?
Yeah. So 3 things. One is they have to secure the appropriate Department of Health license,
Okay.
right? And you know what you went through to get that, Trevor, and as a part of that, there's a whole Okay, so if we just back up how it went, so the whole process to just go before that is the client, say Trevor will contact us, hey, this was 2 years ago now, I'm interested in kitchen, and we say, okay, well, Bethel, we got a kitchen for you, yep, we got the hours that you need and whatnot, and then we provide Trevor, Department of Health, with a just letter that says we are willing to enter into a lease agreement with Trevor for this kitchen at this address.
Right.
That gets Department of Health wheels rolling into their machinery, because they have a whole new application process to take the individual through, and as a part of that, the health officer for that jurisdiction, Smiths and whatnot, different offices for different locations will come down there, and they have to actually see you cook. Is that?
Yeah, they pass by every now and then,
Okay.
and they do their inspection. They just pop in, so be ready.
Yeah.
And they would pop in at the times where you don't want them in. But that's normally how it goes anyway in the industry. So they just pop in and they just double check.
Yes.
They check the hood systems to make sure that the fire extinguisher is up to date. Make sure in the storeroom that everything's packaged properly, and so there's no issues with that. Pest control, accident logs. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's
So
a
you have
lot.
to be prepared.
You have to be prepared,
Yeah.
and it's a lot to keep up on. But I mean, that's just their job, and it's a reason why they do that, and that's just the industry within
Yeah.
itself,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah. Safety first.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that's the whole piece with Department of Health.
Right.
And so as a new user within any commercial kitchen, they'll do that all the time initially to mint the entrepreneur in the space.
Right.
And then, as Trevor mentioned, that's on a routine basis whenever.
Yes.
So that's the first requirement. Secondly, the entrepreneur has to be willing to enter into a sublease with us,
Yes.
right? So everything's contracted, and the sublease basically stipulates this is the days and times that you are licensed to use our kitchen.
Okay.
Yes, and we're flexible with that, and obviously during that time there will be a cleanup period, because we will likely say, okay, well, if Trevor's out of there at 7 o'clock every evening, then maybe that next entrepreneur is in at 8, 8:15, 8:30, right? And so we tried, and then that's a lease arrangement. There's there's the whole rental guidelines in that, and that's how we engage the subtenant to be able to make us whole.
Yes.
And then lastly, they got to play nice in the sandbox. Okay, so there are other individuals, that are using the kitchen, and so there is a requirement to clean up and make sure that that the next user finds a clean kitchen, right? And obviously, Department of Health is always pushing individuals to do a safe serve or serve safe course, and all cleanliness and sanitary guidelines are just so important with Department of Health, and so we try to be able to push that mandate as well.
Okay.
So those are the three criteria.
Perfect. Are there how many participants in the program do you have so far, and is there capacity for more?
Sure. So at Bethel, actually we have 3 now. We have individual after Trevor, individual that comes in kind of later evenings that has a full-time job, and and so does a pop-up thing and whatnot. He's a professional chef as well. And we have 4 users at Pathways. So 7 altogether. Every now and then we have a provisional license person that if you want to do a pop-up, you need a provisional license. It's about $80 or so. And BEDC, in accordance with Department of Health, will approve you to operate at that kitchen for that particular time only. It might be a Saturday for an event, a fair, or whatever you want to do food service for.
Right.
And we have other kitchens that we're looking at bringing online to be able to increase our capacity.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, but we do have, as I mentioned before, we do have space for later night individuals.
Okay.
So Pathway is pretty booked up with 4 persons. Some little room at Bethel, later evenings. But yeah, those 2 kitchens that we have are kind of almost busting at the seams.
Perfect. So you briefly mentioned the future. I do want to talk about what your plans are for the future of the program. What can people expect?
Yeah. So you may not notice, Trevor. I mean, we haven't pushed it out through Chelsea and Jamila and Deshaun's communications department yet, but we are midway through the renovation of the Bermuda College commercial kitchens.
Awesome.
So we've entered into a partnership with Bermuda College. We're excited about that. Working with Scott Wade and Cleon Gayton up there to be able and to take over the former cafeteria kitchens.
Right.
And so we're we've been plugging away at that since December.
Okay.
Early January as far as starting works. Architectural plans are drawn up, and we're creating two fully enabled commercial kitchens there. So we're talking about the stand-up Vulcan. Convection oven.
Convection oven.
Yeah, we're talking about obviously the 6 burner.
Have to move to that one.
They're big, right?
Oh, I know.
The motors on the back, I like that. We're talking, we have the 6 burner range. We have the griddle, the 3-foot griddle. We have the deep fryer. So that's the hot line. Same, commercial fridges. So 1 per individual, if you will. Reconfiguration of, they had 2 walk-in fridges.
Yep.
And so older units, and so we're repurposing that space for storage because everybody needs to have their own storage, their own dry
Right,
food.
yeah.
It's a lot of thought that goes into it. We've talked to a number of experts, Dr. Tanika Eve up there, who's with the kitchens, with the food service program at the college. So we're excited about that. As far as offering a launch to the community, we're a bit behind in regards to, obviously we have to go through Department of Planning. We've already gotten Department of Health check off on the floor plan, which is architecturally drafted. These are all the pieces, it's like all these branches on the tree.
Yeah.
So we're looking at our offering July.
Okay.
It may push into early August, we hope not, but we're almost there. Yeah. And so, as far as funding the appliances, all that, what appliances are the right appliances to put in there? It's not a huge space, not a small space either. Secondly, we're speaking with a centrally located commercial kitchen owner, and in early talks now to be able to see if we can partner with them. That's a very interesting, we like central spaces, and if we had 1 or 2 individuals come to us to say, hey, I love what I'm hearing about the program. We've got a few people down here that would love to be, and then we can start to almost purpose-built around experienced entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And so we're not really there yet to build something and hope they come.
Right.
Right? Because even a renovation, when you talk commercial kitchen, you start 30, 40 grand and up, right?
Yeah.
Everything's just
Lots
kind of
of
ratcheted
equipment.
up. And so this is interesting, this centrally located opportunity that we're working on. Hopefully we'll know something within the next few weeks. And then we are, we had a commercial kitchens lunch and learn, as you know, just last week. And as a result of those attendees engaging us in discussion, we're focused at the West End now to see if we can create some opportunities and an asset infrastructure around 1 or 2 existing long-serving food entrepreneurs.
Okay.
So they have existing businesses. It doesn't meet their capacity. They don't know where to go. And as I just spoke about, instead of that's what we like, is to say, solid person, lots of experience, has some wherewithal. Let's see if we can find a couple of others. And then once we spin that in vision and a little bit of money, a lot of obstacle clearing, a bit of business planning, getting the right people in the room, we can start to kind of have something stand up to say, that's something that we can invest in.
Awesome. Well, it's really good to hear that you guys are thinking of expanding the program. You've got lots coming down the pipeline, as you've explained. So it's really cool to see that the commercial kitchen program is working, entrepreneurs like yourself having the opportunity. So what's the future for plant-based?
I want a restaurant.
Okay.
Right.
All
So
right.
that was always the ultimate goal. Right. So
Where? Like you got a location or some sort of parish picked out, or?
no, I mean it would be nice to be central. It would be nice to have something small to start out with and not something big, because it's a journey, it's a process, and I need to learn. I mean, I can cook. I can cook all day. You know what I mean? But it's the business side, costing and stuff that I'm learning. So I've learned a lot already, but getting into the restaurant industry and learning that is something different from what I'm doing. So starting out small, a small place, maybe a few seatings or something like that, would be a great start.
Okay.
So that's something that our ears perk up on, right? So that's the need, and existing entrepreneur has cut his teeth for many years, knows his product, wants to expand, and maybe there are 2 or 3 others that might make something purpose-built start to get on our radar to say, hey, how can we help you to find the right space in the most affordable fashion with the most flexibility, and which we, within our mandate, do some of the heavy lifting to make it happen.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're all about that.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure your listening audience, gets that. It doesn't have to be a polished diamond. We like dirty diamonds. We like getting in there, clearing away,
Yes.
and just bring in the right resources at the right time to see what we can create together.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we look forward to that restaurant.
Yes.
Can we dive a little bit into why plant-based? It's not a new industry or not a new type of cuisine, but it's one that you don't really find frequently here in Bermuda. So how did you get into that, and what made you bring it here?
Okay, that's a deep rabbit hole you're diving into right now, but I'm gonna give you the short version. So basically, when I was in Barcelona, I was on the opposite end of the plant-based spectrum, and one day on my day off, I just came Netflix, whatever, just chilling. And I came across this documentary, and it completely changed my perception of food. And it just sparked this interest, right? And then from there, it led to more documentaries, me really digging. Then I started picking up books, and then I even done a plant-based nutrition course online, and that was like the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a lot of information out there that you sort of have to dig for, and the correlation between food and disease. And these chronic diseases that plague our society, a lot of them is diet and lifestyle created.
Yeah.
So once I got the education, I couldn't go back, right? So that sort of led me to transition myself first before I even started cooking it.
Right.
And then this business pretty much started out of COVID.
Okay.
I was planning to move back from Barcelona to Bermuda. Long story short, we got stuck because COVID hit, right, in Spain and in Europe, and it was really bad. Lockdown was really bad, so we was like, my wife and I and my newborn son, we was like in our apartments like all day. We like once a week, one of us would go out and get supplies.
Right.
Right. So like for the whole week was just inside. Right.
Yeah.
So I created my plant-based fuel Instagram page, and I just started posting pictures. And I just started creating every day. I was doing something. Every day I was creating something.
Yeah.
Right. Just trying stuff and YouTube and that developed into people in Bermuda saying, hey, I want you to do this catering, and I'm like, yo, I'm not even on the island now. Right. So
Okay.
I literally had people asking me to do caterings before I even moved back.
Okay.
Right. So once I got back, the calls are coming in. I'm like, yo, I'm still in quarantine. I haven't even been, so I was literally back a month, and then I started doing this stuff from home.
Awesome.
And then it just expanded. Once I got the kitchen, obviously, and then I expanded, and we do a lot. I do a lot now.
Great. It's also good to hear that our community is receptive to it as well.
It's growing.
It's growing.
Yeah.
It's getting there.
It's a lot of people have this negative perception.
Yes.
Of this type of way of life, and it's just a perception that needs to be changed. But because there's not a lot of options here, and there's not people to show, there's no option to show someone that, hey, look, you can have this without meat, and it can taste awesome, maybe even better.
Yes.
Right. You don't really see that here, so
Yeah.
people just are stuck in this perception, especially males.
Okay.
right? I say it, especially me. I feel like
Yeah.
females are more perceptive to it. You know what I mean? And I feel like they're more into health anyway, from what I see.
Yeah.
Right. So males have this, it's meat, it's meat, it's meat, but
Yeah.
it's so destructive, right? So
Long live the ribeye.
it's so destructive. But again, like I'm not trying to push this onto anyone, but I just want to give Bermuda a different option for
Yeah.
those that are curious or those that are vegan or plant-based. They have that option
Yeah.
to go and try it and have a good meal. Because at the end of the day, good food is good food. It doesn't matter where it's from, what type of cuisine it is, or whatever. If it's
Yeah.
done right, it can be tasty and it can be exciting and just like any other meal,
Yeah, and I will say I've tried your food, and I tried I thought it was sushi, and
Oh,
it
the
was
sushi.
not, but it was delicious. So
Yeah.
it tasted just like the fish sushi, but
Yeah.
it didn't have any fish in it.
And
so it
that
like-
was made from watermelon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was amazing. So I would definitely, if you audience have the chance to try, just give it a taste, and
Yes.
you might not even notice.
I say try it, man. I say try it because at the end of the day, we all need to better our health.
Yeah.
The healthier we are, the healthier our families are,
Yeah.
the better we can put productivity into this world, into our
Yeah.
job. So I feel like everyone needs to. I'm not saying go vegan, but everyone needs to really take a look at what they eat
Yeah,
and don't eat just because you're hungry or just because that's just what we're used to doing. You know what I mean? Really look at your plate and see, is this helping me prevent disease or is this creating disease?
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's a great backstory. We are at the bottom of the half hour for our
Okay.
show, but I do want to give you both an opportunity to leave our audience with anything that you feel important. How can they contact you, and what are next steps?
Sure. No, I mean, I think we've touched on it all. If I were to sum it up, our commercial kitchens program is a solid opportunity for individuals that want peacetime, peace days, that don't want to be able to take on a whole kitchen. As Trevor started out, you can start off small and embrace a model that can work for you with a flexible obstacle remover like BEDC.
Yes.
Right, so flexible wrench, as Trevor mentioned, I think we're easy to get along with. I mean, we've had our little, chats here and there and whatnot. But you've been there 2 years now. We have other individuals that are looking to come onto the program, and we're attentive to be able to continue to morph it that it makes sense for them.
Right.
Okay, so give us a call, and we're happy to discuss your business, and that's why we're here.
Awesome. Anything you want to leave us with, Trevor?
No, for those that are interested in the program, it's definitely a really good program to get your business started, whether you're full-time or not. And just give it a try. It's basically that springboard that you need to get your location, your license. It's great.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much for joining us. I wish you all the best with plant-based.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see the restaurant in the future.
Yes.
And thank you, William.
Thank you, Kelsey.
Yes. All right. Have a good day, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to Mind Your Business with me, your host, Jamila Lodge. Tune in next week, Thursday at 4 p.m. because if you don't mind your business, who will? Mind Your Business is brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.